friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Marigold Manor. I am so excited for today's video because I feel like I haven't really gotten to enjoy the fall season as much as I normally would, or as much as I would like to, because October was just such a whirlwind of illness. So because of that, I'm just kind of like, wow, October flew by. I didn't get to do really any of the fall activities that I normally do in October, like go to a pumpkin patch, or I wanted to enter a pie baking contest this year. I didn't get to do that. Like, I didn't get to do anything. And October is done. We are now in November, and I feel like it is the time for me to enjoy the fall season before I start getting all of the Christmas and holiday content just thrown at me, which I already am. Like, I'm seeing so many videos already of like, oh, Christmas baking, and like these queens are defrosting, and it's like Eloise at Christmas time, and like Mrs. Crank from Christmas with the Cranks. Don't get me wrong, I love Christmas so much, I really do, but I didn't get to enjoy fall. So in today's video, we're gonna do some fall, autumn, cozy homemaking, maybe even sneak away to a pumpkin patch and see what I can, what I can enjoy, what's left over. Also, I'm so excited because I showed you guys on my community tab that we grew these pole beans. They're actually called dragon tongue beans. They're like a green bean. I was looking for a recipe to make with them. Now, full disclosure, I did make a recipe with them last night. I made like a bean, it was like a green bean and garbanzo bean soup. But like, it honestly just kind of came out looking like baby food. I don't know, anytime I make like a green soup that has to be like put in the blender, it just reminds me of baby food. And then I'm kind of like, I don't really like this. So I'm gonna try again, and I do have more pole beans. I think what I'm gonna do this time is not have the beans be like the center of the dish, but I will have them be like a side dish. Because I do think they'd be really tasty, just honestly stir-fried in like some olive oil, maybe with some chili flakes and garlic and shallots. Like, I think they'd be really tasty to do it that way and not try and like blend them or like, use the immersion blender or anything to make a soup. It just was it was good, don't get me wrong, it was tasty, but it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't a vibe. So I have all those beans and I wanna use them and like make a little side dish. At some point, hopefully soon, I wanna do a little bit of a Thanksgiving rehearsal, because if you guys will recall, this time last year, I started making content consistently on this channel. And I made a video where I tested out a stuffing recipe. And in practice, the stuffing recipe was phenomenal. It was so tasty, it was so good, it was moist, it was so delicious. And then when I went to actually make it on Thanksgiving, it flopped. It flopped super hard. It did not get the response from my family that I was hoping for. But to be fair, I do not feel like it is 100% my fault. And here is why. Short tangent. So when I made the stuffing, I made sure to get specific ingredients. For example, one of the things that I got was a loaf, if you guys will recall, I will link the video down below so you can see, a loaf of brioche bread, and I got comped cheese, okay? Now the recipe said that you could use comped or Gruyere, and I chose comped. So I got a loaf of brioche, comped cheese, and I had added some sausage in it, and it was just so good. Like, it was delicious. Now, when it came time for actual Thanksgiving, I had my mother-in-law and my husband get the groceries for what I needed to make. And they got things that were different to what I used in practice. So, for example, another thing was the mushrooms. I think I used cremini, and I think that cremini had been sold out. I sent them to the exact same grocery store that I had gone to, and I think the mushrooms were sold out. So instead of getting the loaf of bread and the comped cheese and the cremini mushrooms, they got me brioche like rolls, like bread rolls, which were inherently more dense because they were like in smaller sizing. And then they also got me Gruyere instead of comped. And then they also got me baby Bella mushrooms instead of the cremini mushrooms. So when I went to make it a second time, it just did not come out the same exact way that it had come out the first time. And my brother and my mom were like, what is this? Like, what are you trying to do to us? They were not happy about it whatsoever. So all of that to say, I want to do another Thanksgiving sort of rehearsal for whatever it is that I have to make for Thanksgiving this year. So that video will be coming soon. And leave your suggestions down below. Like, do you have a stuffing recipe that you like swear by, or like a favorite Thanksgiving recipe that you swear by that I could bring to my family's Thanksgiving and they won't be upset with me? I will say though that when it came time for Christmas, I made red wine braised short ribs and they were a hit. They were a hit. My brother was like, you see this? This is good. Stick to what you know. stick to what you're good at. Like, stop trying new things. And anyway, so I did make up for it, but I don't want to be humiliated on Thanksgiving again. So if you guys have like tried and true Thanksgiving recipes that you swear by, please leave them in the comments so that I can use them and I can work on them for Thanksgiving rehearsal and Thanksgiving 2025. I think I got on that topic because I was talking about my pole beans. So back to my pole beans. I'm just gonna stir fry them, and I'm gonna make for dinner a sort of like, I found this recipe for a like pumpkin pasta. This is something else that my family would be like, what is this? But it looks really good. It's like a pumpkin pasta that has, hold on, let me find it. Let me find it for you guys. Okay, creamy pumpkin pasta with rosemary almond breadcrumbs. Like, that sounds delicious. This recipe comes to us from the original dish, and it looks really good. Like, there we go. It looks really, really good. So I wanna make that for dinner tonight. I feel like I've probably missed my opportunity for pumpkin patches. I feel like they've probably already transitioned to Christmas tree places, not farms, what do you call them? It's a pumpkin patch and it's a Christmas tree. I don't know, wherever you buy your Christmas trees. They've probably already moved on from the pumpkins. So we will see if there's any still open around here. What do you guys think is like an appropriate time to start decorating for Christmas? Do you think it's like after Thanksgiving? I know a lot of people are decorating early this year. Like, what are your thoughts on the timing of everything? Because I am itching to get my Christmas decorations out. I really am. I really want to like honor the seasons and everything, but I also really want to decorate for Christmas. So when do you guys decorate? Let me know. And another thing that I want to do is I want to make my own like homemade potpourri. My mom used to do this when I was growing up all the time, and it's honestly a very fond memory I have going with her to local parks to forage some pine cones. And what she would do is she would bring the pine cones home, and then you know when you burn a candle and it gets to the point where you can't burn it anymore, she would scoop that out and put it in a pot, melt it all down, and then she would dip the pine cones in it and create her own like homemade potpourri. I think I have some really pretty like flower petals I could add on mine too. So I want to go and see if I can forage any pine cones as well and make a cute little potpourri for the bathroom. Or maybe for the living room, I'm not sure yet. I just think it would be really fun. And it's honestly a very nostalgic like fall activity that I used to do with my mom. So I want to do that in today's video as well. So that's what's going on. I know I'm late. I know I'm late on fall content and fall videos, but just let me have this, okay? I know we're all getting ready for Christmas and we're all getting ready for like that season, but like, to be fair, it's still hot here. It's like 72 degrees. So let me enjoy fall for a little bit longer before we start jumping into Christmas, because I didn't get to enjoy it in October. So that's what we're doing in today's video. Thank you guys so much for being here. I feel like it's been crazy. I mean, this time last year, November last year, was when I really started posting on this channel. And so we're a year in, and I feel so grateful that the channel has grown so much from then to now. And I'm just so thankful for you guys. And I can't believe that it's been a year. I'm so excited to see where this channel is going to go in the next however many years. And I'm excited to see how Marigold Manor will transform and like continue to become our home, whether that's here at this specific apartment or somewhere else. So thank you guys so much for being here and for sticking around for the journey, and let's go enjoy some fall activities. Okay, so this recipe starts out by filling a pot with water to cook your pasta and letting that boil, and then getting started on your homemade breadcrumbs. I have never made breadcrumbs before, but I feel like now I will never buy store-bought ever again. These breadcrumbs were so delicious. It just asked you to chop up some Italian bread or a French loaf and put it in the food processor, and then just process until it became a breadcrumb shape or size, and then to add sliced almonds and continue running the food processor until it got really sort of breadcrumby. I don't know if my food processor just isn't very strong or what the situation was, but it was taking me quite a long time to get them to be the correct size. While that's going, you also have a rosemary sprig and some olive oil on the stove, and you just put it on long enough for it to get crispy and to kind of infuse in the oil, and then you add your breadcrumbs into that same oil and you toast them in the oil for about 8 minutes. Then you put that on a plate and crush the same rosemary sprig on top and season with salt and pepper. It was so delicious. I was snacking on this as I was making the pasta. Then for the sauce, so I made a few changes just to sort of lessen or lower the carb and dairy load. So I used ghee instead of butter for my for my fat. And then I also used coconut milk instead of heavy cream, or actually I used coconut cream instead of heavy cream, which honestly, it gave the same effect. It is a very similar, it's not a super similar flavor, but it's similar enough in texture, and honestly, it's masked by the pumpkin anyway, so I don't think it mattered. But then you add the pumpkin in, you add some honey and your spices, cinnamon and paprika, and then I did go ahead and add in actual mascarpone cheese because I couldn't find a dairy-free alternative. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. So I added in the mascarpone, and then I also added in the Parmesan. I didn't want to do vegan parm because it just I don't like it. I don't like it. And then I went ahead and added my pasta into the sauce and mixed it up all together. I did mess up a little bit because I was supposed to save the pasta water. That's a step I always forget to do. I strained the pasta too soon, but I just added half a cup of water that wasn't pasta water, and that helped to loosen it anyway, so it was fine. Then, getting to the main event, my dragon tongue beans, all I did was just trim the ends of these beans, and then I drizzled olive oil, salt, pepper, and chopped garlic with them in a bowl, and then I just threw them on a stove at medium-high heat. And I cooked them for a little bit before adding a splash of water. I wanted to add the splash of water because I wanted to make sure that they cooked through. There's nothing more frustrating than when something gets cooked on the outside and not on the inside. And I've found that when you add a splash of water to things, whether it's potatoes or veggies or whatever, that's how you can get it to cook through the center. So I added a splash of water. It did not take away from the flavor. It was so good. And I honestly felt like a chef at PF Chang's or something with the high flame and the and the green beans. They were so delicious. I felt like this was a very good fall, cozy, comforting meal. I think in the future I will definitely try to find some sort of protein to go with it and not just carb load myself. I also did use gluten-free pasta. It was bucatini, and I used a brown rice bucatini, and it was still really, really good. Okay, so I've never actually seen this before, and I wanted to show you guys because it's super cool. These are the pine cones, still attached. Still attached to the tree. I was just walking along this road and just looking to see if I could see any on the ground, and I was like, oh, there's some on the ground here. And then I tried to grab them, and they're still attached. Oh god, okay, I'm gonna stop touching it. And they're still attached, but it's just so cool. I've never seen this before. And you can see there's so much moss growing on top of the branches and everything, but look, the pine cones are still attached, which is just so cool. I did get some good ones. I'm gonna see if I can get any more, but this one I came and I was like, oh, I'll just grab this. and it's like in the earth. It's not going anywhere. So I'm just trying to get the ones that I can. I'm not gonna rip any off of the branches because obviously like that feels wrong. But if I can grab any, I'm gonna try. But yeah, they're all, oh, this one's loose. Let's see. Ooh, that's a good one. That's so good. Okay, we'll add this to the bag. Wash it off. Look at that. That's a really good one. Okay, and then I just saw this one across the street. It's interesting. I was wondering why they weren't fully formed, and then I realized it's because they have like a backside that rests on the branch. So that's why they're like half like this. You know what I mean? Like not like the ones in the stores that are full, but they're like a half pine cone because this side is the side that grows on the branch. It's so interesting. Anyways, that's so beautiful. I'm trying to see where it's coming from, like which tree it's coming from. Oh, I think it's this one. Obviously. It's coming from this giant tree. Oh, you can even see the pine cones. Oh, wow. This is so cool. I'm really glad that I pulled over. Now, if I can just see if I find any more, that would be great. Berries are really pretty too. Not gonna touch them because don't know what they are. Don't want to hurt myself, but it's just feeling so fall up here. It's feeling so fall, so gorgeous, and I'm really loving this little excursion. So for my pine cone potpourri, that's what I'm calling it. First things first, took the pine cones out of the bag and put them on an old baking sheet and put them in the oven. You want to put them in the oven because this is going to kill off any critters, bugs, moss, sap, like all of the nature things that you might not necessarily want in your potpourri. So you put them in the oven for about 30 to 45 minutes at around 200 degrees. You don't want to go above 250 because apparently that can make them like go up in flames. So you want to keep it super low and then make sure that they are fully cooled before you dip them in your wax. So I had a bunch of old candles that I needed to take the wax out of. I started with this one from Anthropology. I actually still had a lot of wax in this one. It's just that the wick stopped working. So I just took all of that wax out, put it in a bowl, and then transferred it to the stove top and melted it down. Now, when it came time to actually dip the pine cones, I called my mom and asked her how she used to do it, and she said she poured it over the top of the pine cones. Now, that did not work for me. It actually ended up being very, very messy. So I decided that I was going to kind of dip them into the wax itself and then take a spoon and drizzle the wax over the top. And I put them in my bathroom, and the bathroom now smells really good. It smells like that Anthropology candle. So this was a lot of fun, super easy, and completely free craft that you can do, which I love. So I thought to close the video, I would give you guys a bit of a fall winter garden update. I feel like I haven't been talking about what has been going on at our micro farm for quite some time. It's just been a busy year. So I wanted to give you a quick update. Basically, where we're at right now is that we just kind of feel like it would be a smart idea for the next growing season for us to focus on growing vegetables. We're doing this because this year was really rough growing the flowers. We did not get as much rain this year as we did last year. We got rain, but it was later in the season. So when we had our first year, it was very successful because the rain was like constant and it, like, we didn't really need to, like, we didn't even have a watering system, and we were able to grow a lot more. There was a lot more that we could harvest. This year was a lot more difficult because of the lack of rain, or the delay in rain. So where I thought we were going to be at the farmer's market, in the summer, we kept having to push it back because things just weren't growing. It was really unfortunate. We did get blooms at the end of the season, but by then, our sort of flow was off, and the kind of infrastructure that we had created in terms of okay, this is what we do, and we spend this night at the farm, and then we wake up early, and then we take the stuff to the farmer's market. All of that sort of flow was completely thrown off because we just weren't in the habit. Last year, we were in the habit of being at the farmer's market every single Saturday, and this year we were only there twice. So we really didn't have a lot to show for what we were growing, and it was really kind of a bummer. And at some point I just had to be okay, I'm just gonna kind of move on from this right now, because I don't have the bandwidth to run this whole farm and also have a job and also be trying to revive my YouTube presence, all of these things. It was just too much. But one thing that we did notice is that we did have success growing veggies. We always have success growing veggies. We've grown, as you saw today, we grew those dragon tongue pole beans, we grew carrots, we grew a snap peas, we've grown zucchini. We've grown veggies very successfully. And what we found is that the soil that we have grown vegetables in, when we then add to that soil and plant flowers the following year, it's very abundant, and the flowers are huge, and they're really, that soil is kind of supercharged. So we're thinking about taking this next year to just focus on building up the soil and growing vegetables. Of course, something I do want to do again is I would like to grow the ranunculus again, because they were so pretty this year. So I do want to do that again. So we're going to start on that probably in November or December. And once we start that, that's a whole process where, you have to soak the corms, and you have to put them in a dark room for 2 weeks or 4 weeks or however long, and then you transfer them to your actual soil. So I wouldn't mind doing that, but with all of our other beds, I just want to kind of focus on growing vegetables and just building up the soil. I don't know what kind of rain is expected this year. We do have a drip system in the first half of the micro farm, but we don't have it in the second half. This year's gonna be even harder because I am starting a full-time job in January. So I didn't talk about this on YouTube, but I do have a video discussing what's going on over on Patreon. Long story short, I am moving on from this flower shop, and I am moving into a full-time position. But that does not mean that my journey with flowers is over by any means. But if you want to know more sort of details about that, head over to Patreon and watch that video. I'll link it down below. So this next year is going to be even more difficult because I'll be working full time, and I'm not necessarily working in a city that is close to where our micro farm is. So we're going to have to do a lot of figuring out of how we're going to run the farm remotely. I think a lot of it's going to have to be installing a drip system throughout the entire farm, being a little bit more diligent about planning, just a lot's gonna have to happen. But I'm hopeful that we can still do the farmer's market next year. We'll see. I don't wanna overcommit and overpromise and then underdeliver. So that's what's going on. Honestly, the recipe that I made with the dragon tongue beans today was so good. Mixed the beans with olive oil, salt, pepper, and garlic, and just stir fried it. I didn't even need to blanch them before because I just threw on a splash of water, and then they were good to go. I just cooked them that way, and they were so good, so crisp. I wanted to eat them all, but then I decided I should probably save some for when my husband gets home because he's gonna want to taste them. So we're looking forward to planting more vegetables and more edible things next year. Maybe that'll include edible flowers. I've grown cornflower and stuff before, so we'll see. But that's what's going on with the farm. That's what you can expect in the future. Of course, it is bittersweet for me right now to be moving on from the flower shop. But again, like I said, I have that whole explanation video over on Patreon. But I am really excited for the future, and I'm excited for how flowers are going to stay in my life. And also I'm excited for how this new position is going to allow me to be a little bit more creative. I'm really excited for next year, and I am excited for what happens in our micro farm. And for weekly updates, make sure you're signed up at my website on the newsletter, because I do send out a newsletter generally once a week on Sundays, which reminds me I have to like write it up and do it right now. I do send out a newsletter usually on Sundays or Monday morning, and I usually just talk about what's going on in our lives, what's going on the farm, and any like updates that you need to know. So I will link that down below. My website is thefemininefancy.com. Sign up for the newsletter to get all of those sorts of like background information and updates and things like that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly spent all day homemaking and just doing fun little home crafts, so I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did too. If you did, please consider giving this video a thumbs up, and also consider subscribing to the channel. The Marigold Manor community is growing. We'll see if we can hit that 20K before the end of the year, but if not, it's no biggie, but we'll see. Who knows? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!